Welcome to Find You Fridays. It's Friday, which means we're here. We're here for a lovely evening together. Hello, Melinda. Hello, my love. How are you? I hope you're doing super duper well. And here's hoping this works all right. First one of those I've had in a very, 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 very long time. Wow. Number one, it's sugar. Number two, it's energy drink. When we're running on 4 hours sleep, life is good. Life is fun. How's your week been, Melinda? Hopefully you've had a good one. No funny visits from a strange Kiwi. Oh dear. Okay, I just have to do one little thing. No, I don't want to go in there. Nuke. Switch over. Oops. Come on. Trying to push too many buttons too close together. We can't be having that now, can we? Boom. Happy days. All right. Okay, let's have a look at our weekly reading and see what we can have. This week has been good, thank you. No, it was nice the other weeks. Yay! How's my day been? My day has been fantastic. I have been all the way down to a part of the country that I've never been to before. I've been close. I've been to Victor Harbour before, but I've been down in Cape Jarvis overnight and got to go out to Deep Creek and have a little bit of a scout around out there for where I might go camping in the future, and like maybe in a couple of weeks' time or something like that. Hi, Edwina. And then I went for a bit of a walk, around a simple walk. It was only about a 1.5k walk, but it was so nice. And so nice to be in the big tall trees and the ferns. Oh, see, I grew up with a lot of ferns and lush bush and panga trees and things like that. Or panga palms, I should say. And today I was actually able to, run my hand through ferns and stuff. And it was just so lovely. And hearing the creek and the birds twittering in the trees and all that sort of stuff. It was so nice and so soothing for my soul. And it was just so beautiful out there, and being able to look across the water and there's Kangaroo Island like right there. Just amazing. Hi Tamara. Yeah, I missed you too, darling. Oh cool, you went out with your sisters for your older sister's 50th birthday last week. Fantastic. That's amazing. Yeah, we definitely missed you last week. It was a lovely session, but yeah, it was a little bit quieter than usual, but I don't mind. We are what we are, and I just love the fact that we all get together when we can, and that it's so nice and soft and gentle here. It's so beautiful, and it's just, yeah. And the forest, it wasn't until right near the end of our walk where we started actually hearing the trees just slightly rubbing against each other, which is like with a talk, it's like trees are talking to you. And if you didn't know what it was, you might think it's an animal or something like that, sort of making like a sound, but no, it was the trees. And one of the things that I love about New Zealand bush when I get to go there is the sound of the wind going through the trees. Like when I went to my sister's wedding last year, and they were out in a national park, and to get to the loo, you had to walk a wee ways around to get to the drop loo. And it was slightly windy, and you could hear the wind going through the trees, and it was just glorious, absolutely glorious. Yes, Tamara. So yes, I did figure it was you, being aligned to divine. So thank you. I've got Edwina has come in first, and then you're second, Tamara. So yeah, the tree noises are just so beautiful, and I just spoke to my heart, and we got to sort of pause for a little bit and sort of sit and just sit and listen and be. It was so lovely. Seriously, so lovely, and I feel really grateful to my friend who was showing me around and being a fabulous tour guide as such. And because it's their neck of the woods, so so yeah, it was fabulous. And when you catch up with friends, and so often you end up talking for a long time, and yes, last night was no different. gotta love those chats. Yeah. So if you all remember, a couple of weeks ago, I got to do a cleaning job with a lady who's palliative care. And this week I was back there again, and I actually got to speak to the lady directly, because she's not as bedbound as I thought or had been led to believe. And she is able to walk, but she's very, very frail. But you know what? It was just incredible to, and I feel so lucky that I was actually able to have that conversation with her and tell her how grateful I am to her for being able to do their cleaning, and how she has fully inspired me to get out and enjoy life more now. And so it's doing things like catching up with my friend who was, lives only a couple of kilometers away from where I was doing a job. Thanks, Melinda, for that beautiful cup of tea. And just being able to catch up with you was just amazing. But also getting out and just doing stuff like going traveling and seeing parts of the country that I've never seen before, and spending time in the nature of those places. Like, that's really, really important to me. And it's one of the things that I do miss when I'm stuck in the city a lot. It's that thing of like not being able to connect in with the trees and the nature and stuff. But now I'll be able to do that a heap more. And because there's been some different things that have popped up in my world, which I'm just like, yeah. And so fully making use of the things like going up to Murray Alta, and I've never fully done the walk up Mount Lofty, so I am looking forward to doing that in the coming weeks, and just really making use of my time. So yeah, it has been a while, Melinda. I love it. I love that we get to do that sort of stuff together, and it's always enlightening, very enlightening. So yeah, that was something that was really fucking cool. Is I've done a lot of energy work over the last couple of days, and it's just been fabulous in so many ways. So I'm feeling quite had a fabulous trip back, and even though there was a big fat car crash on where was it, between just south side of Sir Donald Bradman Drive, I was able to go around it easy peasy, and actually got home probably 4 minutes faster than predicted, even with the car crash and stuff. So yeah, fantastic. Not a roo to be seen, so that was good. The sunset was gorgeous. Oh, the number of times I just wanted to pull over and take photos, and especially when the hills are coming down like that, and then you've just got this ocean coming out like this, and it's just like, oh my God, this is so fucking gorgeous. So yeah, amazing. So I'd love to know, what have you guys been up to this week? How have you been going? How did you go with this in-betweeny week? I know we sort of said there might be some stuff that comes up, so be aware of that. And along with all of that, just making sure that you are taking good care of yourself and making sure that you're doing lots of grounding, being expansive, making sure that you're being an allowance of the energies that are around you, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's been a wonderful week. I know that for me, the solar flares that have been hitting Earth at the minute, like from early this week, oh my God, they started fucking with my sleep massively, and that wasn't fun. It was like, what on earth? I don't have to be awake at 4 o'clock in the morning. Body, why are you awake right now? And it was just like, no, time to wake up, time to be awake. Okay. So I don't know if you guys felt the same. There was a weird kind of energetic pressure, I guess is the best way for me to describe that for me. And I certainly felt it a lot early in the week. And so with the awareness of what it was, being solar flares and all, I was like, that's cool. I'm just going to be an allowance of it and make sure I do things like allow for other people's non-understanding of what this is. And because when people feel uncomfortable in their bodies, of course, they can react with frustration and anger. And because I drive so much, that comes out as road rage. And not for me, because I don't tend to be road ragey at all these days. Like, I'm very chill. But I allow plenty of space between me and other cars. So if other people are like I'd still travel at good speed, but it's like if people feel like, oh, you really need to get around them. Look, there's a space in front of them. So they speed up to get around. I don't care. That's fine. Whatever. If somebody wants to come in front of me, that's cool. You do you, dude. I'll just gently come back a bit so that I can have my nice bit of distance there. I like creating space around me. And we'll just see how things go. And so with that in mind, my week's been very good with traveling around this week. So yay. We have licorice and peppermint tea, in case you're curious. Yummy. So Tamara said it's been an interesting week for sleep. Let me show you all. Interesting week for sleep, but I've also felt quite capable and still showing up and moving forward. Kids have been a bit wobbly this week. Yeah. And of course, our kids are a great barometer of what's happening with the energies of the universe and the planets and all of that sort of stuff. Because they're less indoctrinated and less filtered. So they will be a great barometer for all the stuff happening in and around us. Let us have a look and see which cards wish to come out for the weekly reading for the collective. Ew. Oh. Interesting. I think what else have I covered? Oh yes, I went off to another mentoring session on Saturday last week. Fabulous session. And for those of you who do follow me on my private page over in Facebook land, you'll see that I put up a post talking about, there's a photo of me sort of with my eyes closed and just with a pond and stuff behind me. And it absolutely gorgeous piece of land that they have up there. And so lovely. It is at Riverdale Spiritual Centre, and just beautiful. And I love the pond, and I got some time to sit at the pond after my session and just listen to the water and speak to my spirit team and all of that sort of stuff, and I was able to get some questions answered for me and all of that. And I find one of the things that I realized this last week is, like we've been talking about a lot, is when you're in survival mode, your internal system is very on edge a lot. And I affectionately use the term bajiggity, because it just puts into words perfectly how it feels inside. But to put it in a term that is not is just more normal, it's like you're just on edge all the time. You have higher levels of on edge and lower levels of on edge, but when you're in survival mode, that it's always there. And it's that space of just always being ready for the next thing to go wrong, and the next thing that the next problem that you have to fix, or whatever it be. And now that we are, 22 days into feeling very safe and calm within, one of the things I've realized is, over the years I've said I'm just not an oceans girl. I don't find the ocean to be particularly, like the sea and the ocean sounds, to be particularly soothing to me. And I realized why that is this week. And it's because the ocean has a very, especially when you've got waves breaking and all of that, it's a very explosive type energy. And for a lot of people, they love that. They find that really, really super soothing. And it's also even when it's just the water breaking just gently on the seashore, it still wasn't particularly soothing for me because it was so loud. And when I'm sitting in my survival mode and everything's on edge and everything like that, that loudness was too much for my system. That's why I wasn't an oceans girl. And that's why I've always been a lakes and rivers and bush girl. And because it's so much more gentle and soothing. Sometimes it's hard for me with the cockatoos, because cockatoos are fucking loud. They're just so full on. And I'm looking forward to the point when I get to do a little bit more time at the ocean, at the beach, to see if, now that I'm in a space of calm and peacefulness within, whether I will enjoy being at the beach in the ocean more. I think at my core, I will always be a mountains, bush, rivers girl, and the lakes and things like that. Interesting times as I navigate my way through this new way of being. It's interesting. It's fun. And I just love it. I truly do. And I feel so grateful to my body for being so resilient and so strong for such a very long time, and holding space for me while I moved through all those different lessons and rememberings and all this stuff. So these cards are being shuffled for tomorrow being the 23rd of August through to the 29th of August. Oh my goodness. And of course we have shifted into the sign of Virgo. I have known some very amazing and talented people who are Virgos. And beautifully, wonderfully detailed, pedantic little fuckers as well. One of them I can think of, and they were actually born on the same day, funnily enough. One of them is a fitter and turner, and the other one is a male midwife who is now a director of education and training and stuff for hospitals over in Sydney. So does sort of like, they're at the point of being past an RN and all that sort of stuff. Yes, Virgos. So me and Virgos get along really well, actually. I like Virgos. Virgos are great creatures. They work nicely with an Aries energy. So, see, tomorrow? Yeah, that's why we get along. I like the detail orientatedness of them. I like that they can get really super passionate about stuff, whatever they're interested in, super duper passionate. And that to me is like really exciting, because it's like I can be so fucking passionate about what I love, and I can talk about stuff for hours and hours and hours. And also I like listening to what other people have to say too, and telling me about their passions and their life experiences and all that sort of stuff. And it's just so cool. It's so cool, and I really enjoy it. But Virgos are wonderful creatures, and they love knowing lots of things about lots of things. And intelligence is a real turn on for me. Like, just in friendships and life and partners, it's like I love an intelligent person to be conversing with on a regular basis, and somebody who is really well read or experienced or something like that. It's like, yeah, now we can actually connect, and we're not just talking about basic shit. Like, I couldn't give a rat's arse what the superstars and the models and things are doing. I don't care. They're just doing their thing. They're doing their life. Yeah, rabbit holes. Mm-hmm. I hear you. And I don't do shallow talk. It's not for me. And I love having people in my world who are the same. And yeah, good old Virgos. I find Aquarians to be very much the same. Aren't they, Melinda? Okay. Ooh. This is interesting. I haven't seen this card before. So we've got the Mystical Healing deck from good old Ina Segal. We don't normally pick this one for our weekly reading, but apparently this is where we're at. So let me just... okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Thank you. All right. Oh dear. Yeah, social situations are really interesting for me. So when I am in a small group, I love it. I thrive in a small group, because generally I can find or pick out a particular topic that somebody else might be passionate about, and then I can go into that with them, and I can ask them questions, and then I can bubble up off of that. And because I have a lot of experience with conversing with people who have ADHD, for example, if I've got something that I've been talking about, and then they come through and they, what is that called?
There's a specific term for it when they come through and they kind of interrupt in the middle of something. And then in the old days, I used to get really frustrated by that, and I'd shut down and stuff. But these days, I remember, and I let them say their thing, and then I roll back around and I'll go, and blah, 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 and I'll carry on and I'll finish what I was saying. And there's a lot of people who go, how do you do that? And I was like, practice. I'll still converse with them and remember what they've been telling me, but it's like, or at least the core details of what they're telling me. But yeah. But yeah, that's so cool. At that, sorry, I guess gotta keep my legs warm. They get a bit chilly in this room. But yeah, I did fluff. And, when I was first, like in my early 20s, I was with somebody. I used to call them my social lubricant, because I was still a bit shy back then. Can you believe? And they loved putting me in situations where I was in with a bunch of, like, a large group of people where I didn't know anyone. And so what they'd do is they would scout around, find somebody that, because they would just know everyone. They were just that kind of person, the social butterfly type person, kind of spoke to everybody. And they would identify somebody that I could probably have a reasonably decent conversation with, and they'd pair us up, and then they'd bugger off and they'd go flitting around. And then when that conversation inevitably died out, I would just be a bit like you, Tamara, and I'd sit back and I'd observe, and I'd see how things work. And in my 30s and stuff, I would mix it up a little bit. So by that time, my social lubricant person was well and truly gone. And so I had to be my own social lubricant. And yeah, it's cool because, like, I can have those moments of just sitting back quietly observing, and then I'll be able to come forward and start conversing. But I'll sit back and I'll observe, and then and I'll be listening, seeing how people gel, what works, what doesn't, who's the loud one, who's the show pony, who's the salesman of the group, who's the who's the nerd, who's the, and I'll be looking and watching everybody, seeing who's what, and then go, I reckon I could talk with you. And so I'd go over and have a chat. But yeah, it is interesting, and I'm really grateful to my job because it keeps my my own social lubricant skills up, because I'm meeting strangers all the time. And sometimes we get a chance to talk, sometimes we don't. And, especially with the oldies, they fucking love it because they get to sit and watch me work and chat away to me, and it's great. So yeah, Tamara said it's because if we don't say it when it pops into our heads, we will forget. Yes, and there's a specific name for it. And it's something that's only popped into my awareness just recently. So I can't remember what the name. There is a name for it though. So, like, when people send you memes and stuff like that, they don't send you anything else. Like my half sister is fabulous for it. She'll just, out of the blue, send me a video or a meme or something like that. And it's her way of saying, I love you. But that's called pebbling. And I love that term for what that is. It's based on the whole penguin thing, when penguins are mating and they're trying to show that, like, the male penguin is trying to show the female penguin that they really like them and stuff, and they want to be their mate forever and ever and ever. And so they'll bring them all the pebbles and the best pebbles in the world. So yeah, that's what particularly ADHDers do with their little memes and things, just randomly out of nowhere. And it's their way of saying, I love you, I'm thinking about you, without saying, I love you and I'm thinking about you. Very, very cute. But the interrupting thing, I can't remember what it's called. I wish I could remember. There is a specific term for it though. And it's a way to also, it's not just about not forgetting, it's a way to show that like you get it. And because it's often the whatever it is that's coming through, it's like, oh, that reminds me of the time, blah, 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 blah. So it's like a way to confirm that you do get it. It's like, oh yeah, I know from my experience that's the same for me too. And I love that. I love, and so it's like, even though there's that process that I have to go through of like remembering where I'm at in my story to be able to come back to it. And if I don't remember, oh well, obviously wasn't that important. But anyway, so collective reading from the, what did I say, the 23rd through to the 29th of August, being that the new moon is tomorrow. And let's try to say that we've had 2 new moons this month, which is not true. It's a bunch of BS. We haven't had 2 new moons this month. Anyway, gotta love it when the stuff on the internet tells you the wrong thing. I mean, we have kind of technically had a shadow period at the start of the month, but no two new moons anyway. The first card for the collective for this week to come, given that we've got the new moon happening tomorrow and we are currently in the shadow period, this is ennoble your soul. So this is a very interesting card, and I was like, I don't think we've seen this one on the show before. And this is about taking responsibility for your actions and your contribution to the situations that you're in. And so I was like, what is this card about? Just quickly. And so that's why I did a quick read. And because we are in 4D space at the moment, so 4D is where all of our emotion stuff sits. Now, we're not going to be in 4D for very long. Obviously, we've had multiple millennia of being in 3D, and that was a conscious choice to do that. Yay us. But we were in 3D for far, far, far too long. 4D is a transitional space between 3 and 5. And we have to move through 4D to get to 5D. And 5D, as we know, is a lot of, it's a beautiful place. We're going to have a lot more peacefulness once we get there. But the 4D is about really checking yourself and checking your emotions, checking like the fact of when people do that thing of projecting rather than taking responsibility. And that's this week, you might find that that's popping up a lot more in your life than maybe what it has been previously. And given that we're working with a new moon, I'm not at all surprised. So if you've been on a bit of a journey like I have lately, where you're looking at your patterns and stuff, I highly recommend tomorrow sitting down and writing. If you're struggling with something and you're starting to look at the patterns, why is this particular thing keeping on rolling around in my world? Well, obviously, the common denominator is you, right? It's not just that you choose poorly. It's not just that you seem to attract, assholes or narcissists or whatever. There is a reason why you have that energy within you to bring that pattern around again and again and again. And what I would highly recommend tomorrow, especially because it is the new moon, where are you not taking responsibility for your part to play in what has occurred in your life? It's a very hard thing to do, especially if you've been in a big habit of projecting onto others, blaming others for what has happened in your life. And when you start taking responsibility, it's like a very bitter pill to swallow initially. But the more practice you have at it, the better you get, the easier the healing happens, all of that sort of stuff. So it's hard at the start, but it does get easier. So there's going to be an extra special focus on your patterns, what you have been doing, the habits that you have, how you speak about others, about yourself, about your body, about what you have in life. Like there'll be a moment where you'll be going, I can't, and that'll feel wrong because you can, you're just choosing not to. Something I saw just recently was when people use the word addiction, what they're doing is blaming the thing that they are choosing. So people who go, oh, I'm addicted to alcohol, I'm addicted to drugs, I'm addicted to medication, I'm addicted to shopping, I'm addicted to sex, I'm addicted to whatever it is, right? That's putting the onus on the thing that they are addicted to. In actual fact, they've chosen it. It's not an addiction as such. That's a very nice escape plan. It's a very nice way of putting the responsibility onto something else. But at the end of the day, that bottle of alcohol did not sit there and say to you, buy me, drink me. It didn't do any of that. You chose that. That's your responsibility. The thing that was in the shopping, like if people have a shopping addiction, right? They chose to log on. They chose to click that button. They chose to buy that thing. Right? So when you start taking deep responsibility for your contribution to what has occurred in your life, and one of the things that I saw, like heard about this a long time ago, that kind of made me go, ooh, is that quite often when we're doing that, we're not being aware of ourselves. We're not using our intuition because we've detached from our intuition. We stifled it, we pushed it down, made it wrong, pretended like it doesn't exist, right? And so when somebody comes up and goes, yeah, well, I didn't ask to be raped, did I? And it's like, okay, let's just put that incident to the side for a moment. When you came out of that club, so they've been out on the town partying, blah, 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 and like even if you take it even a few steps before that, did you or did you not choose to get drunk? Yes, I chose to get drunk. All right. So in choosing to get drunk, were you then not being particularly aware of your own surroundings? Well, yeah. So if you wind your mind back to that moment, you've come out of the club, you had a choice. You could go left or you could go right. And you chose whichever way because whatever reason. Now, if you really be careful and you tune in on that time, did your intuition tell you to go the opposite way? And quite often they go, well, yeah, actually it did. It didn't actually feel nice to walk the way I was walking, but I went that way because that's the way I always go, because it's the quickest way home. And it's like, oh, wow, I wasn't listening. And that so often happens to us in many different ways, forms, shapes. And it is a very, very bitter pill to swallow, to realize that we have ultimate choice on what we will play with, what we won't play with, what's coming in, what's going out. So don't be surprised if this week there's an extra special focus on what you are choosing and what your responsibility is in the part to play of your life. The next card that we've got for the collective is to listen to your guardian angels. Okay. And so with this, your spirit team is going to be around you very closely, supporting you through your energetic, your emotional journey. And so your emotional journey through this 4D level is going to be a tough one. But the cool thing is that your spirit team has already done it. They're already there. They're already up beyond 5D, right? They've done the work. The majority of them have anyway. So they're there to support you, being, just that nice, friendly, snuggly kind of feel while you're going through all of the emotional ripping and rolling of life. Okay, so be aware that your team is going to be around you. Okay. The next card, or the third card that we have for this week to come, says relieve anxiety. And this one says slow down and connect to your inner self, which is something that is very important while you're on a healing journey. And we're all, from the moment we're born, we're on a healing journey. Not that we realize it back then, but, we are. And that's just a fact. So this week, don't be surprised if you feel a little bit like you have to just sort of take a breath and slow things down and not be on the go, 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 go all the time. Or it's like maybe some ailments might pop up this week. You might find yourself coming down with headaches or something that keeps you in bed for a day or so. Or you might just feel a little bit unwell. If it's any of those sorts of things, that's actually the more stronger way that your body is asking you to slow down. So if you don't want to have any of that popping up in your life, take the time to pay attention to those first two cards. And your body will be like, oh, okay, she's actually listening, or he's actually listening, and it's okay to keep going at the speed that we are, because I know that they're going to devote some time to me and to slow down and to be gentle and nurturing and nourishing, and do the meditation, do the breath work, take a bath, have some moments in nature, to do the things that help slow the system down a little bit so it can actually integrate. Because that's the biggest part of this, is when we're in anxiety, it's because we've slipped into our sympathetic vagal system. So that's where our fight and flight sits. Okay, it's that activated, motivated type energy. So what they're asking for you to do is to slow things down, take a breath. Even if you're finding it hard to take that breath, because sometimes when you're in hardcore anxiety, it is very hard to take a breath. But cognitively, consciously going, I can feel that my body is kind of feeling a little bit out of whack right now. So I'm just going to put one hand on my heart and one hand on my belly and just feel that for a sec. And just go, okay. And even if you're breathing really high and your breath is really, really short, because you've got your hand on your heart and your hand on your belly, you're going to take your conscious mind to these areas and notice what your breathing is like. And then go, and before long you'll be going, and then you'll be able to go, oh, actually now I feel just that little bit better. Now I don't feel so tense and tied up anymore. Huh. And then you can make some different choices. So relieve anxiety this week. So don't be surprised if it comes up. And if it does, please make a plan and put it in place. Put little post-it notes, hand on heart, whatever you require to do to help with all of that for this week to come. Okay? I'm going to leave those cards out for the new. Hello, Christine. Thank you for being here. Oh, we haven't had our yummy card. Oh, Melinda, you needed that butt kick. What butt did I kick? I don't know even what I said. About being responsible for your part to play. Oh, yeah, 100%. Respect is our yummy card for this week for the collective. So respect comes in obviously many different shapes and forms, but what I'm getting with that card is it's saying respect for the process, respect for yourself. And the big thing about that first card is the more that you acknowledge the part that you have played in whatever comes into your life, the more you acknowledge that and the more you actually take responsibility for that, you're actually respecting yourself to a higher, greater level, and you can honor yourself too. And as you honor yourself more, you trust yourself more. And as you trust yourself more, your intuition grows. And as you trust your intuition, as your intuition grows, you trust your intuition more. And so it's all this big, beautiful cycle. And as your intuition grows and you're trusting your intuition, well, then what do you know? You become more vulnerable to yourself, and vulnerable in the way of knowingness, right? You actually are more aware of all of your beauty and all of your talents and all of your gifts and the finer intricacies of how those things all fit together. And when you become aware of things happening around you that make you feel a little bit off, or it's like, oh, that doesn't feel really good, because you're being vulnerable with yourself and with your body, and your body sends you those kind of subtle signals. You're like, oh, I felt that, I recognize that, I acknowledge that, I trust that. Okay, I know what that is. And then you can honor that vulnerability. And of course, as all of those things grow, then the gratitude grows. And oh my God, it's just a wonderful thing. It's just a wonderful thing. Oh, yes. All right. So that's the collective reading. Enjoy that. Be careful. Not careful. I don't like saying be careful. Be aware. And just know that it might be a bit of an emotional week is what the overall thing is there. You know, we've got to be aware, but take note, but also anxiety stuff coming up. Yeah, just be gentle with yourselves. Okay. All right, Edwina, my sweet. What question do you have, my dear? While I write down. Okay. Cool. Cool. Ooh, a cup of tea time. Okay. Let me see. That's funny. So the lyrics that just went through my head was, It's too late to apologize. It's too late. So what a lot of the time my team does actually talk to me through songs. I'll quite often wake up with a song in my head, and it won't move until I have heard the message that they are trying to get through to me through the song. So I'll have to read the lyrics. It's not just a case of listening to the song, it's about reading the lyrics. And what I'm feeling and hearing from that particular lyric is that when it comes to taking responsibility for your own part to play, it's not about saying sorry. It's about actually forgiving. Forgiving not only them, the other person, which is about freeing you. That's not actually about condoning the actions or whatever. It's about freeing you from that. But you also have to forgive yourself, because it's too late to apologize. And often what we are dealing with currently is a lot of really old hurts, old traumas, old pain. And that's well and truly too late to apologize. All right. Christine says, thinking George Michael freedom. And that's when I get, and you got to have faith, the faith, the faith. You got to have faith, the faith. Music. The music is back in my world. I love it. Went for a long period of not listening to music. The only time I'd hear music is if it was on somebody's radio, or if I'd gone to work or whatever. But there's been a bit more music coming back into my world lately, so that's been fun. So the other thing I'm getting with that song lyric is, the "It's too late to apologize" song lyric is, the longer that you hold onto resentment, the harder it is for you to do your own internal healing. And, we've all been through situations where somebody's hurt us. It might be a friend, a partner, a workplace, a family member. And if we keep playing those same stories over and over again, like an earworm, it's not really moving. And again, it's about taking responsibility for your part to play in that. And I'm talking to everybody here, not just Edwina. And the thing is, none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. And you can call it a mistake. You can call it a learning moment, as we would in childcare or the teaching sector. You're just having very big emotions right now, and it's a learning moment for you. What can we take from this moment? What lessons or things have we learned right now? And I can't remember what it was. But it was, or who it was, not what it was, but who it was, where they were talking about how they're raising their children. And they said that it was a guy that was talking, and he said that he's raising his kids to only say sorry when they actually truly mean it. And the person that they were talking to was like, well, God, what if they don't mean it? And he goes, well, in that case, they have to make reparations, because there's still got to be an understanding there of the fact that they have hurt another person through their actions. But I'm not going to make them say sorry when they don't bloody well mean it, because then it's insincere. And what am I teaching them? I'm teaching them that it's okay to say sorry just to make it better. It's like, no, you've got to actually feel it. You've got to know it on the inside. And I think that's also part of this message for everybody is don't say sorry to people please. Don't say sorry to be the peacemaker. Don't say sorry to just make things okay when you don't actually mean it. And when somebody says sorry to you and they genuinely mean it, it feels different. And it's like when somebody gives you a gift and there's no hooks, ties, obligations, expectations attached to it. It feels different to somebody who is giving a gift and goes, right, I've given them this and now I'm going to wait to call it in. Interesting, right? Oh, no, we need to change decks. I mean, I've got 3 cards here for you, but there's more. Cool. I do love this deck, but it is funny when it comes out because the images on this one can be a little fauna for YouTube. Whee! Okay, Edwina, where are you going with this one? Okay. Cool. I'm not sure what either of those 2 cards are about because we don't get to play with this deck very often. So I'll read those 2 afterwards. All right. So we have... oh, dear. Marolinars are back. Enjoy. It's funny because I'm a North Island girl from New Zealand. So for those of you who don't know, New Zealand is actually split into 3 islands, but we don't talk about the one right down the bottom, being Stewart Island. But we generally have the North and the South. And in the North, if you're somebody who has been raised in a very heavy Māori culture way, you'll generally have the rolling R's. But if you're racist, you won't. And in the South, because the South Island was settled by a lot of Scottish and Irish people, you get a lot of the really thick rolly R's. So it's Invercargill and Christchurch and stuff like that. And because I grew up in a very small village where the majority of the people were Māori people, and there was a lot of Māori language which came through with my schooling as well as the people I was around. There's a lot of rolling R's. And of course I've got Scottish and Irish heritage as well. So I was particularly on my dad's side. So there's still a lot of that coming through. And I've been hanging out with somebody who's got a bit of Scottish in them. And it's weird. It's weird because when I came over to Australia when I was 15, I picked up the Australian accent so thoroughly that within 4 days, of being here, I picked it up so thoroughly that not even the Aussies could tell that I was a Kiwi. And then it took me 6 fucking months to get rid of it when I got back home. And how would we know my Scottish style is coming through? I love it. Good. And then when I was at uni, I used to know that I was getting drunk because my Aussie accent would start coming back out again, and I would hear it, and I'm like, oh, I've had too much to drink now, or I've had just the right amount to drink. I can stop because my Aussie's coming out, and that was a really, really good sign for me to stop drinking. But like when I have spoken to a lot of Kiwis and I hear their accent, mine gets refreshed just a little bit. But I can almost guarantee if I went over to somewhere like Scotland, Ireland, or anywhere like that, I'd come back. My accent would change. Only because I want it to. I love those accents. Right, Edwina. Your first card for this week to come is learn to nurture yourself, become the love that you deserve. So as you are continuing on in your journey and getting to a place internally where you feel safe enough within you, loving yourself and nurturing yourself will become easier and easier. And it's kind of like this beautiful helix of the more that you love yourself, the more you pay attention to where you're at, and the more you feel safe enough, the easier it becomes to love and nurture yourself. And so you'll keep doing it. And this week to come it's reminding you once again, please love and nurture yourself and keep doing those things that bring you joy, that bring you peacefulness, that make you laugh, because laughter is a fabulous healing medicine. So keep learning to nurture yourself. Find out what does make you feel good. Write it down. Write down yourself a list of what makes you feel good. And here's a cool thing. You can do that exercise with your kids. Oh, that was very Kiwi. With your kids, with your children. Have them sit down with you and go, right, guys, we're going to write a list of all the things that make you feel good. And I'm going to do it with you too. So I can write down a list of things that make me feel really good. And challenge them to write about things that don't cost money. Because that's one of the ways we keep ourselves locked up from receiving nurturing, is by thinking, oh, it all costs too much money. Like getting massages or, whatever might cost a lot. But quite honestly, when you're nurturing yourself, it doesn't have to cost anything really directly at all. One of the ways I nurture myself is by having a bubble bath. And whether it be once a week, once a fortnight, once a month, it doesn't matter. It's just when my body asks me to have a bubble bath, I have a bubble bath. And sometimes I'll not be doing any energy work with the bubble bath. Hello, Paul. Sometimes it'll be that I do require to do energy work while I'm in the bubble bath. Either way, it's fine. I've been known to watch, Netflix while being in the bubble bath, because it's just, I know my body requires the contribution, the nurturing of being in a bath with oils and salts and all of that going on. And it's time and space for me to just let my body rest. But I'm also not one that likes staying in a bath doing just nothing for hours on end like my mum used to. Mum's fucking amazing for taking baths. She'll quite happily be in a bath for like an hour and a half. I'm like, how? Never could understand that. Nurture yourself. Write a list. Embrace and loving touch. Reach out and connect. So According to studies, they say we require 15 hugs a day for maintenance, just maintenance. And most people do not receive that many hugs in a day. And so if you've got little ones, this is so easy to get to. It's like if you got like 4 little ones, it's just a couple of hugs each, 3 hugs each, pretty much done. 3 4s are 12 and a couple of extras. So over a day, there's a beautiful amount of hugs that you can get if you've got little ones, right? When you're in that space of survival mode, quite often you won't reach out for hugs. So this is also a challenge to you to hug yourself. Take those moments, and that's where we come into heart stuff. One way to hug yourself is to put one arm under an armpit, come like that, and come across like that. You can hug yourself like that across your arms. That can be quite soothing sometimes if you do that. There's been a lot of research about just gently rubbing your arms like that, and it's a process, I think, called havening, where this is part of the havening process. I haven't had a havening session yet, and I do know somebody who does them, so I will invest in one of those at some point, I think, and I think that'll be really lovely. So embrace loving touch, reach out and connect. Okay, keep reaching out and connecting with others. Whenever you see your friends, give them a big hug this week. Okay, and obviously your family, your little ones, get lots and lots of hugs from them. We've got act with courage is your next card. Let your legs guide you. So given where you're at right now, being and how things are shifting and changing in your world quite dynamically at the minute, let your legs guide you. So this is about allowing you to be courageous and moving forward with confidence into this new job, and allowing yourself to be, it's okay to have like a little wee bit of arrogance when it comes to that particular role, in that I know what I'm doing, all right? Because what happens when we're working with people and we have that little teeny tiny bit of confidence and arrogance, not too much, just a little bit, what it actually does is it gives the people that we are, like our clients, the comfort. It actually helps them to relax and allows them to trust you. It's like, I've got you. I've got this space handled, and you're going to be absolutely cool with me, and you're going to be safe here. And, when we're working out in the community, that's something that is hard to create that rapport really quickly when you're not feeling particularly confident within yourself. So as you keep nurturing yourself and reaching out and bringing those loving energies in, you'll feel more confident within you, so you will be able to be courageous in all areas of your life. And that's pretty bloody cool. 15. So the reason I was like, we haven't hit these cards very much, it's our Sacred Cycles cards. And they are done by Jill Payne and M. Dewey. So the first card that we have is Summer. So my gifts are welcome and needed now. So there we go. This courage that you have, the nurturing that you have, it's all absolutely required now. Warmth radiates around and within you during the height of the summer season. At the peak point of the Earth's own sacred cycle, there is an abundance of natural beauty to be witnessed all around you. Bountiful farm crops, longer days of sunlight, time spent with loved ones. This is a time of massive expansion and connection. Just as the earth provides many offerings for your nurturing and nourishment, you are now being asked to share your own gifts. If you have been working on something but have played your cards close to your chest, the time has come for you to show your hand and let others in on the magic that you are creating. If you are not quite sure what it is that you are supposed to be sharing at this time, consider what you have to offer from your heart. Whatever first comes to mind, that is it. There is no need to make it complicated. Let your inner vibrant shine illuminate from your heart space. You'll find connection with others from this abundant space of generosity. Your journal prompt, what does my heart wish to share? So the big things with that one is about just letting your inner light shine. Let that confidence come out, and let them be be the shining light in with your clients, right? Because the more you do that, the more that they'll go, now breathe. And some of their worries and woes will start to melt away. And they'll feel a little bit more positive. And that's one of the greatest gifts you can give someone, is just by your presence, making them feel happier within themselves. And you can absolutely do that. And I know you can. So you are being called to action with this card. All right. And your next card is number 5. Please, I have to go over a page. Right. Here we go. Here she is. This is the waning gibbon's moon. And it says, I am ready to let go. The waning gibbon's moon calls you to begin the process of letting go. The vision that you are calling in for your soul's next iteration of growth is so expansive that the space must be created for it. Creating that space begins with releasing. You may have old habits based on outdated beliefs, patterns, or ways of being. Often these habits have served you, even if their sole purpose was to keep you feeling safe, and have undoubtedly been essential on your journey. The invitation now is to thank them for their service and send them on their way. If you are unsure about what needs to be released, your inner voice will tell you. You can begin this process by simply getting quiet and asking yourself what you are ready to let go of. Just like the waning gibbon's moon, you are headed towards a time of deep inward contemplation to help call in further clarity. Your journal prompt for this card is, what pattern, relationship, belief, or habit can I release to make space for my evolution? So after the next full moon, that's when this one's going to really start coming out. But what it's asking you to do now, obviously we've got the new moon tomorrow, and then we'll be moving through the next couple of weeks to get to the full moon. So over this next couple of weeks, what this card is asking you to do so that you are ready for a full moon and the waning gibbon's moon, because it's about releasing as the waning, and what they're asking you to do is to start looking at, what are your patterns, what are you ready to release, what are the points of views and belief systems that are no longer serving you. When you start identifying the patterns of what has happened, why you've chosen certain things, why you've surrounded yourself with certain people and chosen certain people to be in your life, then you can go, oh, there's a pattern. Now, what's underneath that? What is the belief that's sitting underneath that? What is the trauma bond that sits underneath that, or trauma bonds? and you can start looking at things a little bit more deeply. All right, so there's a bit of self-reflection and introspection asked for, and you've got to do a little bit of prep work over the next couple of weeks for that. Okay, healing time. It's a beautiful thing. Paul, I'm going to get back to you in a moment. Just a sec. Understanding is your yummy card. Understanding. All right. So as you continue to dive deeply into the nurturing, the kindness, the beauty that you are, and really appreciating your soul journey, the easier it's going to be for you to understand those patterns and be able to come to them from a compassionate point of view. Okay, so like I said, some of these things, these patterns, these belief systems, etc., have come into your life because they are there to keep you safe initially. When you're young, when you can't fight for yourself, when you don't have the time, space, money, grown-up body to be able to keep yourself safe at that time, that's why these points of views, belief systems come in. But now you're an adult. You have time, space, money, and an adult body to be able to sort of look at what that was as a child and go, actually that's no longer relevant, but I can see how it's still functioning. So, yeah, understanding. Love it. And it's not about being under the problem. Just to clear that one up. Thank you so much, Edwina, for your very super duper kind donation. I'm incredibly grateful for you, and thank you so much for being part of the Find You Fridays crew. I'm so grateful to you for that. All right. I hope that helps, and I think you're going to have a nice week, but it's going to be a little bit tender for you in some cases. Okay. That's lovely. Alrighty, Paul, back to Paul. So what are you up to? You are at Hursley Park. Time for my ice cream waffle. Lovely. Ice cream waffle, yum. What flavor of ice cream is your favorite? Everybody, I'd like to know, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream? Mine is actually the New Zealand version of Goody Goody Gumdrops. And I say the New Zealand version because it comes with an ice cream base of like a bubble gum. Whereas over here, you can get Goody Goody Gumdrops, but it has the ice cream base is vanilla. And I'm like, why would you put vanilla with Goody Goody Gumdrops? That doesn't make sense. I don't like that. And then I heard when I was over there last time, it's getting harder and harder to find Goody Goody Gumdrop ice cream. And I'm like, well, that sucks. People need to eat it more so that when I go back, I'll have some. You are seeing Heart on Wednesday night. Can't wait. Never alone. At the fair, come along. Cool. I feel like I do know some Heart songs, but they're not popping into my brain right now. Sorry. You said I'm having dreams, but they are going fast and rewind. What does this mean? Okay. So, dreamscape. Thank you, Tamara. I will be with you just in a moment. So dreamscape is a way, if we go from a non-woo-woo perspective, the dreamscape is a way of helping you to process what is happening in your life. It can be stress, it can be situations that are coming up. You might be having a problem that is in your work life, your personal life, with a friend, whatever. And the dreamscape is a way of your brain working it through. And the brain works in your dreamscape in metaphors quite often, more often than not. Now, fast and rewind means that you're reassessing what you have done. What is the possible outcome here? Don't particularly like that. Brr, back we go. And we start again. Brr, no, let's check it out and see if we can find something different. What if we make a small change here? What outcome is that going to give me? Okay, now we'll go back and check it again. And so it's quite clever what you are doing in your dreamscape right now. The other thing to remember, so this is more moving, so that's from a typical psychologist, type point of view, okay? The other way to look at dreamscape is that your being, your thing that makes you you, does not actually need to sleep. Your body requires sleep, but your being does not. And so this is why people do end up doing stuff like astral travel and things like that. So astral travel it's not always, but it can be moments where you're going off and exploring, gathering information from other dimensions, other worlds, other parts of this world. And it's because your being doesn't really need to sleep. But when you're awake, when you're consciously awake, it's hard to do astral travel, obviously, because you're spending so much time focusing on the everyday stuff of this body, the movement, the food, the interacting with other people, all of that sort of stuff. It takes up a lot of bandwidth. But when you're sleeping and this body is resting, and it's processing all the stuff from the day, and it's defragging, and it's doing all the things, astral travel will sometimes happen in there. And also, the lovely thing is when it starts working in metaphors, it's kind of like a fun little puzzle. And I quite enjoyed there's a particular way of working through dreams, which is really fun. So it's something that I do in my online sessions, particularly with people who have dreams, and we do a bit of digging and we look at things from different perspectives. I can't remember at this moment in this 10 seconds the psychologist that it is to do with, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah, the dreamscape is a wonderful place, and it's full of lots of information. A lot of it is metaphorical, and most of it is just about problem solving and trying to make sense of things that are going on in your world. That's why as kids we have such whacked out freaking dreams, because a lot of the time the adults around us are not explaining things to us. We're just very aware. We're very aware of the energies. We're very aware of there's stuff going on here. But the adults are not telling us because we're too young to know. And so we're just trying to make sense of our world as we see it, and to try and integrate some of this information and stuff, right? So that's why as kids we have such wacky-dacky dreams, because we're just adults don't explain things very well. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Paul. Thank you for the great question. I love it. I'm guessing, Paul, you like vanilla. Edwina is from New Zealand. Orange choc chip. Yep, that's so New Zealandish, isn't it? Hi, Nicole. Oh, orange choc chip. Oh my goodness, I haven't had orange choc chip in God a long time. But it's because when I do go back, I'm like, where's the goody gumdrops? And it's the only thing I care about. I don't think about orange choc chip, but yeah, we used to have orange choc chip growing up. Orange choc chip, mint choc chip, or goody gumdrops, Neapolitan. And you'd often find with the Neapolitan, because there was 3 of us kids growing up together, that each one of us would like one of the flavors, but not all 3 of us would like all 3 flavors. Sometimes it'd be double up, but it was funny. Paul said, and is there a spelling mistake in there, Paul? You said nust. Is that supposed to be nuts? Nuts. Nuts. Nuts rolled on it. So are you talking about like crushed nuts, having the crushed nuts on the top? Ah, cool. Yeah. That is nice. I love going to restaurants, and when I get a dessert, if I choose to have a dessert, and I ask for, and they like have an ice cream sundae, and they say, you can have a choice of flavors. And I'm like, what if I want all the flavors? And you should see that I've done this to so many restaurants, and you should see the waitress, and they're like, so you want chocolate, strawberry, and caramel? I'm like, yeah, all the flavors. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, why would you just want one? You can have them all. There was one restaurant I went to, and this is years ago, even before I moved over here, and I did that. And the waitress was like, I don't know if we can do that. And they've gone out to the back, spoken to the chef, and the chef's gone, yeah, of course, if they want all 3 flavors, of course I'll give it to them. And they did me one better, actually. And they were like, well, seeing as she's so cheeky to ask for all 3 flavors, we're going to give her 3 huge scoops of ice cream. And I swear there must have been at least half a litre of ice cream sitting on my plate. They were 3 huge globs of ice cream like this. And they were like, they'd known that I'd just finished a big meal of, I think it must have had steak and chips, and it's kind of like a bit of a pub meal, but it was a big meal there too, with all the salad and everything. And the chef actually came out and brought me the dessert himself, and he said, hope that's to your liking. And I said, oh, thank you so much. And I'm sitting there and I'm eating this bloody ice cream, and he's standing behind the bar up on a little bit of a raised area watching me eat to see if I'd eat all the ice cream. And I totally did. Oh my God, I was rolling out of the restaurant, but I ate it all because I was just like, yeah, you think you've done one over on me, and I haven't. You got to have all the flavors because it's got to be fun. Like, who wants just one flavor, especially when you've only got vanilla ice cream? It's like, how boring. When I went to New Zealand last year, I got a Sunday dessert, which was a bumblebee. And that was fun. I did think about having a banana split, but I'm a bit funny with bananas these days. So a bumblebee was fun. Alrighty, Tamara, let us see which cards your team would like to play with. Good old ice cream. let us see what amazing messages your team gives us. We know they're going to be amazing because it's coming out in the shaman's dream. Which reminds me, I haven't actually checked to see what my shaman's dream reading said for August. Because if you guys recall, back at Christmas time, which I'm totally going to do again, I went camping and I used this deck to do a 1-card reading for every month of this year. Which reminds me, now that we're in August, I should probably start thinking about getting my next moon diary for the next year. Oh, see you later, Paul. Hope you have a great week. Yeah, seriously, doing that has been so. Now that we're at August, and I've checked, what's been happening each month as we've been going along, and it's just been spot on. It's done several things for me. One of them is it's given me a kind of like a boost of confidence of reading for myself. And that when I do read for myself, that when I'm coming from a place of being very, very open, and so when you're working from projections and expectations, like when you're working from that space of I'm doing a reading because I really want this particular answer, and it doesn't come, and it's like, oh damn, and then you try to ignore it, you try to pretend like that's not what it was, and then you try to read some other, and this is where you kind of mess yourself up with readings for yourself. And I know lots of readers that don't read for themselves for that reason. They'd rather have somebody else give them the quote-unquote bad news. And that's totally okay. Sometimes we're still in our ego a little bit too much to be able to read for ourselves. So doing this thing where it was like 1 card for every month of the year to come, and seeing what my intuition said, because I couldn't comprehend what was going on at that time. Where I am today is completely different. I live in a different place. I have, my job is quite different now. I have, a different sort of financial place with me right now. I'm just internally, mentally, psychologically, physically, I'm all very, very different. Bye, Paul. Yes, you will one day have to get down under. And so mentally, psychologically, everything is different now. And I couldn't have predicted that. I couldn't have. Well, it's not that I can't predict it, because quite clearly I did through these card readings, right? But cognitively, I would, I couldn't project that. It's like, right, this is what I want to see for August. I can't comprehend that. So I must check it out and see what it actually said for August. Ooh. So yeah, doing that, it gave me the little bit of that extra bit of confidence that I actually can read for myself, and to a point where I can actually read for the future, and it's on point. as well. Like, people tell me all the time I'm on point, which is really cool. And I just go, wow, that's so cool. And I'm like, I received that with that excitement, that childlike excitement and wonder of, wow, that's so awesome. I'm so happy that's true. I don't approach any of these readings from that point of view. I don't expect them necessarily to be true. I just go with the energy and I'm just open. And as long as when we do readings for ourselves and we come at it from that place of openness, not projections, expectations, readings can be quite accurate. All right. Oh, this one is so fun, but at the same time, she can be hard. This one can be hard work. We've got number 58, which is the vanishing mirror. So this is ego sublimation, letting go of self-centeredness and becoming a vessel of possibility. So this is really, really, really exciting, right? Do you ever wonder if your self-definition has become too rigid, too fixed around what you've come to learn, so that you contract your life into zones of safe versus unsafe? This is here, okay? But over there, well, that might be too risky. Judgment, fear, self-righteousness, and overconfidence are only some of the traits that keep you from evolving. We are all products of our conditioning. So remember that this is part of the human experience. Yet you are not meant to remain static, seeking only what you expect, even if it appears ambitious, is still too narrow. You go nowhere when you hesitate to move out of your comfort zone. When you focus too much on yourself this way, you become a servant of the ego. It edges God out, removing the magic of possibility. Imagine looking into a mirror and seeing only what you are now. If you can let your self-definition soften, moving beyond the veil to your potential, a magical emptiness exists where all things are possible. Look again. Who could you be? What would you see reflected if you allowed yourself to be other than how you define yourself now? Nothing less is required of you now. In this moment, let go of who you think you are and allow a new you to emerge. You will recognize yourself as what you are, a partner in co-creation, in service to the divine. Doesn't it feel good? So what I love about this card is it's really inviting you to be all of your magic. But to be all of your magic, you have to let go of the shit that's holding you back, that you've defined yourself as. So even defining yourself as, I am a mother, I am a business owner, I am ADHD, I am, all the labels we put on ourselves. Sometimes those labels are helpful, and other times they can be a real hindrance. Some people, as you may have seen in the world, will use a label like ADHD, for example, to give them an excuse for not trying harder in life. They'll just go, and they'll just put it all down to ADHD. All of their poor decisions, everything. But you see that even with people when they use, it's a Mercury retrograde, or it's a full moon, or it's a this, or it's that. Instead of taking responsibility, which is remembering from our group reading at the start, the collective reading, that is going to be coming up a lot this month, or this week to come, is taking responsibility for your own actions. And so along with that, for you too, we're going to be looking at our ego stuff. Where are you holding yourself back? What are your patterns? And where are you allowing old, outdated points of views and belief systems, or ways that your body has kept you safe when you were little, which is no longer relevant now because you're no longer little, you're an adult now. Where you're still allowing yourself to prevent yourself from moving forward and embracing exactly who you are, all your magic. And the cool thing is the more that you let go of that old crap, the more capacities that you're able to embrace and welcome in. It's a little bit, I don't know if you ever watched the show, oh my God, where is it gone? Charmed. And every time they kind of got really proficient at a particular skill or a capacity, and they got really, really good at it, really proficient at it, another one would come in and it would kind of knock them around a bit, right? And until they kind of got their footing with it. But in the meantime, it's kind of like a baby with a bazooka, it's just kind of like firing off everywhere. And I feel like even though that was a TV series and it was, talk about witches and magic and all of that sort of stuff, there's an element of truth in there, especially as we are moving in this times. It's like, yeah, there is capacities that I've noticed have started coming in and become even more strong. My connection, so as I think I may have spoken to you guys about this, but just in case I haven't, before I go into a healing session with someone, my space, my body, my everything is open to receive your guys' spirit team. It also begins to blueprint onto me what your guys' stuff is happening within your body. All right. So that happens for me specifically when I'm coming into a healing session, whether it be online, in person, it doesn't matter. Half an hour beforehand, that's when the door opens. It's like, okay, the office is open for you now, and now you step in. It took me a little bit to realize that I was actually doing that with my cleaning clients as well. So what would happen is I would get unbelievably tired and feel drugged out and like I just wanted to go have a sleep. And it would happen as I'm driving to my next client and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Like, I should, like 10 minutes ago, I wasn't feeling tired. Why am I feeling tired now? Because in my mind, I had shut down that particular capacity opening. But as my skill and my ability to be aware of my environment and the people that I'm going to be interacting with, and also the acknowledgement that my purpose is to provide peace and ease to people, even just by being in their home. Of course, that means I'm connecting with them in a healing way. So therefore, I am now aware of what's going on for them half an hour before I rock up to their house. And now I have to be consciously aware of that, because if I'm just tootling along and all of a sudden I feel like going to sleep because that's what's going on for them in that moment, well, that's bloody dangerous out on the road. But it's just a capacity that's expanded. So that's cool. It's good to know. So yes, as your take a good deep look at where you're at with your ego stuff. Charmed. I haven't watched the entire series for a while, but I do have the box set, and it could be coming up soon, maybe. This is a really, really fascinating card. And I know we haven't seen this one before. This is number 4. It is Caterpillar. So it says transformation, opportunity, independence from conditioned responses. Ooh, this is extra information on the one before. The energy of the caterpillar appears heralding a time of transformation and opportunity. Here you are being asked to revise your dreams. If it looks and smells familiar, step away from it for the time being. The new cannot emerge from the old, and the youthful and vital cannot emerge from the aged and sickly. Experiment and surprise yourself with what arises for you in this moment. Caterpillar is an invitation to test out a new strategy to get a different, better result. Remember that the definition of lunacy is continuing the same thinking and behavior and hoping for a different outcome. It is time to break away from habitual responses, to surprise yourself and startle others, eliciting a smile or a frown or a look of awe from those around you. Do not wait for an invitation from life to practice a bit of outrageousness or for permission to do the unexpected. Any other response right now will lead you to more of the same and no real change. Sometimes the most original response is no response whatsoever. Stand stock still, staring steadily into the eyes of the players in your drama, avoiding engagement until the moment is right. Caterpillar invites you to witness the story unfolding, knowing and deciding on the timing of your action as is essential as finding the best move to make. When you do act, let there be no doubt in anyone's mind of your determination and the power you unleash. So Caterpillar, ooh, I like it. I like it for you. And again, it's adding to the Vanishing Mirror card of the one before, where it's asking you to approach things from a really different point of view. And the other thing I got as I was reading this is the more that you tap into your internal awareness and have allowance for that, even practicing with something as simple as allowing your body, your beautiful feminine body, to choose the clothes that it wishes to wear for the day. It's like when we hand over the power like that, we get to approach life from a really different way. And the cool thing about it is that I know for me, when I had, there was some specific body processes that I did at the time, and I dropped a part of my makeup, which was running the show as far as all the little itsy bitsy stuff, the mundane stuff, like what clothes to wear, what food to eat, and stuff like that. When I got rid of that and came back to me and taking full responsibility for me, I was like, oh, and I looked at my cupboard and I went, oh my God, are these the clothes I've been wearing? It was like, I had no idea. And ever since then, my wardrobe has almost completely changed. I've got some really gorgeous pieces in there now that I get to wear at different times. And I'm so grateful for that. During that time, I also dropped milk out of my diet in the majority of things. Like, I don't have milk in my coffee. I don't have milk in my tea. I don't drink like Farmers Union iced coffee. I don't like none of that sort of stuff. I can still do cream, but that's also because my body was showing me I can't do homogenized milk. So I could probably still have like what you'd say raw milk, but I can't do homogenized anymore. My body reacts very, very poorly to that. So these are the, I thought you did have them. They're the Shaman Dreams cards. Love these cards. Very, very potent, very full-on cards. And they're the ones that I used for my reading, for my personal card a month reading. Now we have had this one before and I like it. It's called Hollow Bone, which is teachability, humility, being empty so that the wind of spirit can breathe through you. So again, you are being asked to drop the old version of yourself, the parts of yourself which are stopping you from moving forwards. You're being asked to have a different, like be open to different possibilities and different points of view so that you can, from within you as well, to challenge yourself to do things differently. Now we're adding to that message. The hollow wing bone of an eagle is a flute for the shamans. The appearance of the hollow bone invites you to become empty of your notions of who you are, to check your ego at the door, which was the first card, and to know that this is not about you. Relinquish your need to be right and to express an opinion, as this will not change anything right now. You are being called to practice humility. Hollow yourself out and hear the wind blow through you and play you like a flute. You will learn the language of the squall and the storm, and understand the message in the summer breeze. There is an important communication waiting for you. Humility is the swiftest path for you to become like the hollow bone. Drop all notions and titles that bolster your ego. Eliminate the doer and allow things to happen of their own accord. Remember that you can accomplish most anything if you are willing to let someone else take credit for it. This is an interesting thing. Hollow Bone has come to caution you to believe only 50% of what others think and only 10% of what you think. Trust your experience, not what you've read in sacred books or holy texts. This will allow you to turn apparent danger into opportunity. Remember that you are an insignificant grain of sand in the grand scheme of life, and as important as the brightest sun. So this is a really fascinating card, right? It's getting really down to the nitty-gritty. And I have experienced this many times. One of the most significant was when I was doing research into my ancestral tree, and the knowingness that it has taken so many people coming together at just the right time for me to be able to be here. Hundreds of thousands of people. And which made me feel completely insignificant and significant at the same time. And when the other time was when I realized that not only are we like on this earth, like when we do the expanding out exercise, right? We are here, we are on this earth, we are part of the earth. We can be aware of the solar system and the galaxies and the universes, multiverses if you prefer, beyond the lifetimes, dimensions, realities, and non-realities, beyond all of that, right? Not only can we have all that, when you go inside and you go down microscopically, and you start looking at the infinite universe within you, because you are actually 99.999% space, once again, you're significant and yet insignificant at the same time. fascinating. It's like, and knowing that that is the possibility, and also that there's so many things that you can do without, if you don't have your ego sitting there trying to run the show. There's so much magic that you, Tamara, you have stored within your body, because your being has instantaneous access to it. So it's not your being that's the issue. It's your ego holding back, being the gatekeeper for your capacities and abilities and your magic. And it comes out in things like, at the moment I'm getting a lot of sort of funky stuff around the heart area, right? It's like, how much magic are you holding back from your heart that's stuck here, stuck in your heart? If you allowed yourself to drop those parts of you that are believing that you are heartbroken, what if you're not heartbroken whatsoever? What if, and all the things that you've been through in your life, it was actually the polishing of your heart to make it shine even brighter than it was before? Because, you know, in that polishing process, it's grit. It takes a lot of grits, and they get finer and finer and finer and finer, until eventually you can just polish it all off and it shines so, so, so bright. But I get the sense at the moment what's happening is that you've been sanded. You've got all those sharp edges, and they're starting to really come down now. Kind of like when people are doing polishing of any kind, whether it be resin or timber or whatever it might be. There's that moment, you've got to have that first bit of grittiness, which is uncomfortable, right? It's little scratches. And then you've got to change the grit of the sandpaper to take those initial deeper scratches out. And that's what our healing process is doing all the time. Now I'm getting the sense that you're about ready to be polished so that you can shine really brightly. But the only way that you can shine really super bright and be nice and polished is if you drop the points of views that you are always going to be a certain way. So there's a very good friend of mine that says, I've always been like this, I'll always be like this, I'm never going to change. And I'm like, yeah, because you believe that. And they're like, what? Because they're not particularly woo-woo, so they don't get it. And I'm just like, yeah, no, one day you might understand what I'm saying, but that's okay that you don't get it right now. But this is why I love it when I get to talk to people who go, oh, the only sure thing is that there is going to be change in the world. Like, yeah, absolutely, completely agree with you. Now, this next card I actually get is, this is an encouragement card for you. This is why I was like, this is a great reading. Like, I could tell even just from looking at the cards initially without reading the book. So this is Fortune's Wheel, okay? And it's luck and right timing, a turn of fortune. The Fortune's Wheel is a sign that luck has found the right timing in your life. You have the magic touch and everything turns to gold. There is nothing you can do wrong. You only require to hold what you desire as your intention, and it becomes true. Do not waste this power on trifling things. Dream big, for surely this opportune moment will pass. Such is the nature of the Fortune's Wheel. Use the creative power of the Fortune's Wheel for the benefit of others, and use the gifts and the gifts will be returned to you tenfold. Use it only for your own gain, and you will be left impoverished with the bitter taste of squandered opportunity. Fortune's wheel comes unannounced. Notice the early signs, the coincidental encounters, the seemingly magical synchronous events that herald its arrival. That call, that email, that invitation, that chance to encounter was no accident. They were all choreographed by fortune. Do not wait any longer. Carpe diem. Recall your boldest, noblest longing and invite it into your life. This invitation is all that is required. This is very, very exciting. So this is very much the encouragement card to all the others to say, this is what you will be able to receive, the biggest, boldest things that you're desiring right now. You'll be able to actually receive them because you've done this other work. And that's really bloody exciting. So keep going, keep polishing, get to that point of polishing with the final polishing paste and the microfiber cloth. Like, make that shine bright. You've done the scratches and the scrapes, you've done the lessons, you've done the things, particularly around your heart area. And part of that polishing process is to let go of the stuff that you believe that is holding you back. It's not. That's your choice to believe that they're holding you back. It doesn't have to be true for you. Okay? You make it true. And yes, sometimes we require time to catch up. Sometimes we require time to heal. Sometimes we require time to integrate. Not everything has to be 1,000,000 miles an hour. And sometimes it's frustrating to be patient. And it's okay to be frustrated about that too. But don't let that hold you back from doing and being you. All of you. The magic of you. Really. I shuffle these cards, these yummy cards, every single time. And apparently the theme for tonight is understanding. Oh dear. So don't stand under your problems. That one actually means that. Please don't stand under your problems, making them bigger than you. Be bold, be brave, be you. That's why I say that every week, because it's true. Allow yourself to shine. Allow yourself to be big and bold and amazing, and stand on your own possibilities of your magic. Just remember the Cheshire Cat. He's a quirky little character. And depending on, what versions of Alice in Wonderland you read, he was incredibly creative, clever, very clever character. Whew. Didn't doubt himself at all, though. Thank you so much, Tamara, for your beautiful, kind donation. I'm so grateful to have you here this week. It's so cool to have you here. And hope those cards were as interesting for you as they were for me tonight. Alrighty. Christine, my dear, I do have your questions. They are off to the side. And so I didn't look at them yet. So you're so welcome, Tamara. Thank you for being here. Okay. And let me have a look. So okay. I might have to have my cup of tea for this one. Cool. It's I love, Tamara, that you are definitely already in the energy of the messages. Let me just hide that one for a second. So it's wonderful confirmation, isn't it? And it's nice to have that little extra bit of guidance, a little bit of extra info as to what you have to do to keep moving forward with that. And that's part of why I go to my, I'm going to call her my personal mentor because it sounds fancy. My personal holistic mentor, because she does the same thing for me in that she gives me like self-reflection questions and things like that to assist me to continue on my journey. And where I have questions and things about, you know, what might be coming up, what might be bubbling up in my world or stuff like that. And it's nice to have another person's perspective. Doesn't make it wrong. And of course, we always have to be mindful of who we are asking. One of my friends recently put out a sort of a kind of like an SOS almost, but not. Just a call out to people who have had situations pop up in their lives or somebody that they know's lives around mediums, and where the medium has basically abused the sacred space of where they are, and that sacred space of working with somebody in their team or their loved one or whatever. And that's where we have to be very discerning of who we ask to do these sorts of things with. And it doesn't matter if they are somebody who is world renowned or not. You find there are a lot of really beautiful, amazing people who are incredibly genuine and are able to, like, I've come across so many amazing mediums and readers and intuitives over the years. One of my very first readings was actually from a guy who was at a very small psychic show, psychic, sort of mind body psychic, but it was back in New Zealand, back in Hastings. It was a very tiny, psychic fair. And I got the sense that he was the person that I needed to have a reading from. And it was so funny because he was really nervous because it was his very first psychic fair. He was still trying to gain that little bit of confidence within his own abilities to know that he was, any good even. And he even said to me, look, if I give you this reading, and if you really, really don't think it's for you or you think it's rubbish or whatever, I will give you all your money back. I'm just like, oh, that's so lovely. And I said, but I know I'm meant to come to you. And this is before I'd even had my first deck of cards or anything like that. I said, I know I have to come to you. And for whatever reason, that's why I'm here. And so he gave me the reading and it was perfect. And he goes, did that all make sense to you? And I'm like, yeah, it totally did. Thank you. Absolutely, thank you. And he was the one that initially actually told me that my dad's dad, who I never got to meet because he passed away 6 months before I was born, he was the first person that I became consciously aware of as far as a part of my spirit team. And in fact, this is the second time I've spoken about him today. And he's a funny fella. He's being that he's my dad's dad, I think he has a little bit of the old cheeky rapscallion kind of, probably a little bit of that Scottish humour in him too. Not as much, because he was still a very responsible farmer. And so he still presents as somebody that's kind of very stoic at the same time. And he just tells it like it is. He doesn't tend to say a lot to me these days. He doesn't need to. He has his son, my dad, doing a lot of talking for him. But yeah. So all of that is to say, thank you. Thank you for trusting me to read for you. And thank you, all of you, for trusting me to read for you. Because it is an honor and a privilege for me to be here with you and for you to ask me to do this sort of thing. And I'm so grateful. So, yes, thank you. All right, let me just remove that because I want to drop out. All right, jumping back to Christine. Let's see if I can comprehend this one. Okay. Guides help. I have to report to social services financial exploitation of an elderly. The woman has assumed the role of caregiver for dad, 85 years old, and is taking money bank accounts his memory. Okay. She is going aggressive now, sending money to another country for his brother and her daughter in the USA. A lot of money for a person, and she's already getting 7,000 and additional. So, Christine, can you please, if you are still there, what is your actual questions? This is a lot of statements, but no questions. She may have gone because she said that, I just scrolled back and she said that I have to go 8:15 and go to work. All right. Let me see if I can figure this out. Hi, Raya. messages does your team have for you, Miss Christine? Okay, Christine, we have the Heal Yourself Oracle. So what I've done is I've asked your team to tell me what is it that you require to know in this situation. Okay, so let's have a look and see what it says. The first card that's come up is self-sabotage. Become conscious of how your inner saboteur functions. You are about to sabotage a big opportunity. Now is the time to stop procrastinating and cease focusing your energy on why you are unworthy of wonderful, enriching experiences. When you connect to the saboteur archetype, you begin to recognize all the ways you pass up interesting opportunities and relationships, which could make you grow, learn, evolve, and become fulfilled. The saboteur is terrified of change and guards your heart from that which is meaningful to you. The misguided belief that if you don't try, you can't fail. It forgets that if you don't escape from your comfort zone, you cannot succeed and experience love and joy which would fulfill you. On the lighter side, the saboteur can help you to connect to your intuition and help you to listen to your deeper wisdom. It can assist you in deciphering a potentially dangerous situation from an exciting one. So with the self-sabotage card coming forward right at the beginning, what I actually get is the largest message of this one for you, Christine, is that you are about to sabotage a big opportunity. And there is some real deep, dark shite going on. See you later tomorrow. I hope you have a fabulous week. There is some really deep, dark stuff going on in relation to what's going on with your dad, what's going on with this lady, and all the other stuff that's happening financially for you guys. And the sense that I get from all of this is that there is energies here beyond your control. And the more that you are focusing really, really hard on this particular issue, the more you're sabotaging your own health, particularly your own health and happiness. And it's about keeping balance. So make sure that you are still making time for yourself, making time to care and nurture yourself, taking the time to follow your hopes and dreams, regardless of whether your father's inheritance comes to you or not. Okay? And I know that's going to be a really hard, really, really hard thing for you to hear. But the more you keep focusing on this particular problem and neglecting yourself, you are self-sabotaging. Okay? So that's the first part. The next card that we've got for you is Unleash Your Creativity. Your creative talents and abilities are your most powerful assets. Allow your imagination to roam without limits and access new ideas without judging them. It is time for you to be innovative and birth unique creations. If you are feeling stuck, get up and move. Try new things, meet new people, read books, paint, and so on. Concentrate on an area of your life where you require to be creative. Are you a great singer who shares your talents with others? Do you have an affinity with gardening? Can you tell powerful stories? Are you technically minded? Can you whip up an amazing meal? What is your special flavor of creativity? Whatever it is, give yourself permission, the time to be inventive. The more creative you allow yourself to be, the more fulfilled you are going to feel. Okay, so what this is showing us and showing you is that in relation to this question, this is not necessarily about being creative about that. It's about, again, bringing balance back into your world. Because what happens is when we are in spaces where we are constantly stressed out and focusing and obsessing on something like that, your creative side gets forgotten about. And say if you are somebody who is actually really good in the kitchen and can cook amazing meals, what happens when your creative side starts dropping away? You start making shitty choices as far as your food that you eat. You end up picking up a lot more takeaways and eating junk food and stuff like that because you haven't got enough energy to focus towards your own nutrition. So again, that comes back to the self-sabotage. So please start taking notice of where you are not looking after yourself, because you cannot have the energy that you require to do these reports and do all the things that you feel is important to do in the situation if you're not looking after yourself. Mentally, emotionally, physically. Okay? Your third card is number 21, which is healing. Illness and pain in your body is a message for you to slow down, look within, and make important changes. If you are experiencing stress, feeling overwhelmed, are suffering ailments in your body, or are feeling exhausted and depressed, it means that your body is trying to communicate with you. Your body desires for you to start treating it with them in a more loving manner and listening to the messages it is sending you. You require to become conscious of the areas in your life that you are avoiding or suppressing. Healing takes time. It is a process. Your first step towards healing is to create a safe, loving, supportive environment where you can listen to your inner wisdom. Okay? So for you, my dear, I get you do a lot of very high breathing, very short, shallow breaths. And what that is doing for you is it's telling your body that you are constantly under threat. And as a result, your cortisol levels will be triggered, because when our breath is very short and sharp, it's saying, I've got to be on the alert because, something's going to jump out and kill me soon. It's it's part of our caveman parts of our brain. And the caveman part of our brain is like on the alert for things like lions and bears and buffalo and things that are going to rip us to shreds, because we're just, weak little humans. We don't have big tusks and claws and things like that. Not naturally. Of course, we manufacture them, but we don't have them, right? So when we are constantly having this short, sharp breath, it sends the message to our brain to go, release cortisol, release adrenaline, just keep it all going. Which, of course, then comes back to your heart and back to the rest of your body. So it's always on high alert, on edge, waiting for the next thing. Where's the danger? Where's the danger? Where's the danger? Right? You cannot heal when you're like that. It's very difficult. Because for you to be able to heal and be nurturing and stop self-sabotaging yourself and all of that sort of stuff, you have to feel a lot more safe within yourself. Currently, you don't. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend you get off and do some counseling, attend some counseling, okay? Because all of this stress is not helping you with the situation that we're talking about here, all right? So you have to find a counselor, a holistic type counselor who specializes, or a counselor, psychologist, whatever, that specializes in trauma bonding and polyvagal theory. Okay? Those are the two key things that you have to watch out for. Go get some extra additional therapy. So you can handle all of this, and they can be there as part of your physical team to assist you to have a safe place to land while you're dealing with all of this emotional stuff. Because it is a lot of emotions wrapped up in all of this. Because you're not only dealing with the financial abuse of your dad, which is then by default rolling through to you and your brother, you're also dealing with the emotional abuse of this happening to your dad, and you're seeing it, and that's hard. It's hard to watch any of that going on. And then you're dealing with the morbidity of your dad. He's not getting any younger. His body is breaking down. His mind is breaking down. And that's scary to watch too, which then becomes an emotional problem for you. So there's a lot of dynamics going on here that you really, really do require some professional in-person help to help you be able to process all of this in a safe, calm space. Okay? Let me get your yummy card. You got open-hearted, which tells me that you have to approach this from an open-hearted way for you, for your heart, because it's very closed off right now. Because it's self-protection. And that absolutely makes sense. Thank you so much for your donation, Christine. I'm really, really grateful for you, and grateful for your questions. And I wish you the absolute best of luck with all of it. And I hope that in the future you will be able to be more easeful with this, and whatever the outcome, that you don't lose yourself along the way. Okay? And that seems to be what your team is trying really hard to tell you right now, is that they're saying, please look after yourself. Your dad is going to pass away whether you like it or not. He's going to pass away whether he's got lots of money or not. And What you do have control over is your health and wellness. It's up to you. Thank you so much for your donations, Christine, and I'm so, so grateful for you. And I hope you are able to receive this reading and some of the information here and take it forward and hopefully receive some help from somebody in your local area that can help move this through for you, okay? And give you the support that you definitely require. Many hugs and loves to you, dear, and thank you for being part of the Find You Friday crew. Alrighty. All right. So we are going to do a quick meditation tonight, and we do have the new moon tomorrow for us down here in the southern hemisphere. So we'll do a bit of a meditation, and I've kept out the cards from our weekly reading so that we can use them as inspiration as well. All right? Because we always, always, always must do, at the very least, the expanding out tool to remind you to do that. And as we have a look and see what other energies are coming through, when we have the expanding out tool working for us, we are able to then enjoy the spaciousness provided by the expanding out tool, which you can use anytime. You don't have to have me to do this for you. And that's the beauty of it. That's why we do practice it every single week. Because I desire for you guys to have this tool and use it and have it work for you in a way that allows you to have way more peace and ease in your life too. All right, closing your eyes now. Take a big, deep breath right down to the bottom of your belly. And breathing out. And breathing in, bringing Mother Earth energy all the way up through your body. Breathing out, bringing Father Sky energy all the way down. Breathing in, bringing Mother Earth and the unconditional love all the way up. Breathing out, bringing Father Sky and the gratitude for everything and everyone all the way down. Become aware of your body. Become aware of how it is positioned. Become aware of your skin. Become aware of your muscles. Become aware of your bones. Become aware of all of your internal organs. Become aware of your blood moving around your body. Become aware of your cells and molecules. And as you become aware of your cells and molecules, look even deeper. Look to within the molecule down to the atomic level. Keep going further, see the protons and the neutrons moving around the nuclei, constantly shifting and changing into different structures and forms so that they can, as the molecules move, and then they move the cells, and the cells are constantly in a ever-changing space of shifting and changing as well. And just notice how there's no projections or expectations on how the cells show up, if they die, if they don't die. It's like, okay, it's just part of the process. And now go even further within the nuclei and see that there's actually space within the nuclei even. There's space all around. And now as you go even further, have a look and see if you can see the universes within you. The fact that you are actually made up of stardust. And as stardust, you are made from the comets. You are made from planets that have gone into a point of no return. All of the chemical, the minerals that have literally come from outer space is you. They are within you, they are you. And now you can expand out with that beautiful knowing that you are universes within universes within universes inside of you. And incredible amounts of knowledge is able to be accessed through those pathways as well as the ones we expand out into. Expanding out your awareness in a big bubble all around you, up into the sky and down into the earth. Expanding out your awareness out beyond the size of the building that you're in, out beyond the size of the country that you're on. Expanding out your awareness out beyond the size of the planet. Expanding out your awareness out beyond the size of the solar system, and then the galaxies, and then the universes. Beautiful. Keeping your awareness nice and expanded out, focus on your allowance. And as you expand out your allowance in a big bubble all around you, you begin to feel more and more settled and safe within yourself. The edge that you normally feel, the edginess that you normally feel, is going to start feeling a little bit quieter. Beautiful. So expanding out your allowance now. In a big bubble, up into the sky, down into the earth. Expanding out your allowance beyond the size of the building that you're in. Beyond the size of the country that you're on. Beyond the size of the planet. Beyond the size of the solar system. expanding out your allowance beyond the size of the galaxies. And beyond the size of the universes. And beyond the size of your awareness. Taking a big, deep breath in all the way down to the bottom of your toes. And now breathing out, really allowing your body to register that things feel very different right now. And as we ponder on the week to come, and you feel and or see the big, dark moon, the new moon that is coming along just for you. In this moment, even in the darkness, shedding the light on all the little areas where you have pushed the responsibility of your own journey onto someone else through blame, shame, regret, guilt, anger, rage, fury, hate, resentment. Everywhere that you are allowing yourself to not take responsibility for your journey, all of that is coming back to you now. That responsibility, that ownership of self, the ownership of your part to play in your journey, the choices that you have consciously and subconsciously made throughout your entire life. You are now keenly aware of them. Imagine your heart is opening up wider and wider. And as you open up your heart and you begin to see the truth for you about where your responsibility lies in your journey, that's it. Well done. And as you do this, take note of your spirit team, which is surrounding you right now, helping you to feel safe and secure within yourself so that you can do this process from that place of love, unconditional love, and nurturing. And as your heart opens out wider and wider, and you begin to really comprehend and understand the symbol of the yin and the yang, that there has to be a little bit of dark in the light and a little bit of light in the dark. You start to see all those times in your life where you have pushed out self-responsibility onto other people or things, when in actual fact it all lies with you. Well done. So as you continue this process of enlarging your heart, being open-minded, and dropping all of those points of views and belief systems where you're saying, I can't be this, I can't do that, or I'm always have been a certain way and I always will be a certain way, and there is nothing that's going to change that. Everywhere that you are stuck and rigid in a certain way of being or thinking or doing, this is now your invitation to soften on that and maybe, just maybe, let it go from your system so that you can listen to your team and you can feel safe enough within you to have the confidence to move into a greater, more beautiful, incredibly exciting future for yourself. One that you haven't really properly entertained. But the magical key here is you take ultimate responsibility for yourself. And the reason why we are doing this is because when we hit the 5D world, you will know intimately that what you do to another, you do to everyone. From your best friend to the newborn baby down the street. Everyone. Now is the time to take responsibility for who you be, who you choose to be, who you choose to show to the world, what you choose to show to the world. Now is your time. If you wish to move through into 5D with ease, you must do this work now. The space of being in the 4D realm where your emotional quotient is being polished, where you're getting rid of all the clag and all the stuff which is no longer serving you in any way, shape or form. All of that right now is being slothed away. Beautiful. And as your heart energy now fills and spills over all of the rest of your body, and you finally realize that you are unconditional love within you, as well as throughout every single cell of your body. And now in this moment, you might see yourself becoming a part of Mother Earth. And Mother Earth is becoming a part of you. Grounding yourself in the here and the now. Make the commitment now to honor your journey by being responsible for you, for your emotional maturity, your financial maturity, your spiritual maturity, your own divine healing intelligence. Anything that doesn't allow you to be that, have that, do that, please let it go now. there's any beings that are stopping you, any attachments that are stopping you, let them go now. Chuck them in the fire. Let them go to Creator or the universe or whatever. But release them from your body in whatever way feels right for you to do so. And now, hand on heart, we say thank you to our bodies for holding so much space for us while we move through this new age of the 4D realm on our way to 5D. We say thank you, thank you, thank you. And now imagine that you're standing underneath that bright, beautiful crystalline waterfall, and the water is flowing over and through every cell and molecule of your body, washing away any fragments of energies from these old, outdated belief systems that you've already released, sending it down through your body or away from your body to Mother Earth to use those energies for something else. Beautiful. And now stepping out onto the big warm river rock where you feel Mother Earth underneath your feet. And as you feel Mother Earth underneath your feet, in the warmth of Mother Earth, breathe in, bring Mother Earth all the way up. And as you breathe out, bringing Father Sky energy all the way down. Bringing Mother Earth and the unconditional love all the way up as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, bringing Father Sky and the gratitude for everything and everyone all the way down. When you're ready, open your eyes. For self-care and nurturing, please drink plenty of water this week. Remember, once you get past the point of feeling thirsty, you're probably already a bit dehydrated. This week is incredibly important when you are dealing with a lot of healing and a lot of energetic stuff. You will be quite thirsty and probably hankering for a bit of salt. Okay? So in the meantime, until I see you next time, get out there, do something tasty for yourself. Be kind, caring, and nurturing. Be bold. Be brave. Be you, my beautiful friends. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.